I changed it, Keith.
You did. You kind of confused me. I thought, hang on, have we just done a show?
No.
And I missed the whole fucking thing.
No, I changed it because I felt like changing it. Plus, we keep getting hit with a bloody copyright strike on the back end of it. So I was like, anywho, it's not copyright strike, it's copyright claim. And I was fine with the copyright claim. And then I was like, maybe we should be using our own stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Monkey Nut Punch podcast, starring me, Gareth, the most awesome geek in the universe, and only one person disagrees with him, and that's B. Keith. See you up there.
That is one intro. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I feel like a cup of tea. I feel a lot better with a cup of tea.
I think you'll find I'm not the only one, but we'll go with that for now. I'm the only one here that disagrees with it.
I'd like to hear the voices of all the other people who disagree with me. Hang on a second. No.
It's because no one's tuned in yet.
It's one of those things. So
Yes.
we've got Star Trek Nemesis we were talking about, and I've just realised I've fucking mistyped it on the thumbnail because I missed the E out. Oopsie doopsie. Star Trek Nemesis. Nemesis. Oops.
Nemesis.
Shit. Nemesis. So we're going to talk about Star Trek Nemesis, which it's not as bad. It has its problems. It has a lot of good things going for it, and it has its problems.
I will reserve my comments for when we get through to it, but I basically agree with what you just said. Yeah, I was surprised actually.
It's fun. I find it funny because there are bits in it I really enjoy, and there are bits in it I just go, oh, for fucking move along, guys, come on. And you can definitely see the difference between Jonathan Frakes and the other director, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yes.
So we got that. You've watched Loki. Why?
Yes.
So you can talk about Loki.
Because I enjoy
hurting yourself. Self-flagellation.
Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, when they're on screen together, it works. And there was a lot of that this week. In one respect, that was quite cool. But we can talk about that.
Okay.
And there's Doctor Who stuff, isn't there? And there's other Star Trek stuff, which is interesting.
But that's one piece of interesting Doctor Who news.
Well, they released the music this week. So not only did they release the new theme, they've also released the new Doctor theme as well, which I hadn't realised and only just heard about 20 minutes ago.
They got Murray Gold back, so they've done something right there. So yes. We'll go into that. So you watched Loki, we did that. We can briefly talk about Sex Education and what a fucking horrible series that ended up. I still just left it at the end of season 3 and got cancelled. I think I would have preferred that. It was just everything I don't like about TV, and they put it in there. And you know how we said before, if you're going to do like this woke shite, there's a way of doing it, and Sex Education did it right for the first 3 seasons and then fucked it up.
I have to say this, and this is not really in this podcast, but there is one thing I did watch this week that I surprisingly enjoyed because it felt like an old friend. Frasier's back, and it was good. I mean, okay, it's missing all the characters. You know, it's only got Frasier in, so only Frasier has come back. It's got Nicholas Lyndhurst in it, and it's like, you know, it's nice.
Sorry, it's got Rodney from
as in Rodney in it playing.
And is this American or English setting?
No, he's English. He's
no,
English.
setting.
Oh, it's in Boston. It's back in Boston.
Okay.
Although they're not the only.
I thought it was Seattle.
No,
it was in Seattle.
Yes, Fraser. But at the end of Fraser, he moved to Chicago to do a TV show, which is where he's made like millions, right? And now he's come back to Boston, which is where Cheers was. And it's the only criticism I've got is that he's not back in the Cheers bar. But genuinely, it was great hearing him go, and they've redone the theme tune at the end, and it's just and he's clearly having fun with it. And actually, I again really enjoyed it. It feels like an old friend, even though Niles and Daphne are missing. It feels like an old friend. It's filmed in front of an audience, and there's nothing new about it, but I don't care. It was great, and it's great seeing that character back, and I generally enjoyed it. Some people have dissed it. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's old stuff and it doesn't feel new." I don't care. It's genuinely actually refreshing to have something that they brought back, not chocked full of fucking modern day politics and all that stuff. It just feels like an old friend. Just Fraser's that bit older, but he's still Fraser, and it works. It just works. So yeah, if you got Paramount Plus, watch the first 2 episodes of Fraser. If you're a Fraser fan, you'll enjoy it.
I've got to watch Tulsa King. I've been meaning to watch Tulsa King on Paramount Plus. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, okay. Sorry, hang on. Before we go on, Totally Killer 2023 on Prime. It's fun. Give us more details, Biffa.
Yeah,
I'll probably. I need something to watch.
Because I don't know what that is. I apologise. I haven't heard of that.
No. It could be anything. So.
Go on. What do you want to talk about first? What subjects do you want to?
Let's get Loki out of the way and done with.
Okay. All right. So I watched this, and at the end of it, I thought, have I missed something? Have I missed like something in what happened between last week's episode and this week's episode, and what did I miss? And I didn't miss anything, but a lot of people said, "Oh, this episode makes you feel like you've missed something." I said, "Well, I'm glad it wasn't just me." But having said that, again, 2 episodes in, we get a little bit of Sylvie, but it's mostly Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilkerson, playing off each other. And I have to say, I like that. Is it good? Not really. It's kind of boring in certain places. But again, I like Tom Hiddleston. The trouble is, it's a bit like Strange New Worlds in the fact that you've got these characters and you've got these actors playing those characters, and those actors are very charismatic, and that works. But the writing is terrible, if that makes sense. And even when Loki, finds Sylvie working in a McDonald's, which is kind of actually quite a good scene, that works. But then I don't know. I like Ken Guan, and when he's on screen, he's great. And again, that's possibly why I'm still watching it, because I like the actors. So there are moments. Put it this way, it's 10 times better than Secret Invasion. I mean, it is, but that's not difficult.
I've had a bloody prostate exam that was more entertaining than Secret Invasion. And I was invaded. 2 fingers.
It's semi... it's semi. That is wrong. Semi entertaining.
Wasn't very secret.
Girl goes back in time to stop her mother's killer in Monday. Okay, that sounds. Well, we could watch that. Back to the Future with Halloween combined. Okay.
Yeah, we'll give that a watch. We'll give that a watch.
But I'd say it's better than season 1 so far. But that's again only because of the characters. And so far, we haven't had any girl boss better than man kind of thing. So far, it's kind of been all right. Even in the fight scene when Loki and Sylvie go.
So this is how it goes. Yeah, this is how it always goes with these Disney shows. It's all right. Oh my God, nostalgia! They brought back insert character here. Yeah. And then you get to the end, and it's like, what the fuck was the point of all of that?
But Ahsoka is a perfect example of that, and the ratings have proven that. Episode 7 and 8, you should see the drop off. And even Star Wars Theory, who was saying, "Oh, this is the best thing," is now going, 7 and 8 weren't that good. It's like, really? Really? They weren't that good? They were fucking terrible. And what did that show do? How did that show add to the Star Wars universe? It did absolutely fuck all. It was exactly as you said. Insert nostalgia, everybody goes fucking mad, and then you finish off with a wet fart.
So
Which is
that's how
exactly
it's
what
going to
that show
happen.
was.
That's going to happen.
No,
This is how it's going to happen.
I'm fully
So
aware of
what?
that. So
So
I'm enjoying
what?
it for what it is because
the
I enjoy the
question
actors.
So the question is, what nostalgia or what fan baiting do you think that they'll put in there?
Oh, we're gonna get something. I mean, we're gonna get Kang at some point. I mean, that's coming, obviously, and it is Jonathan Majors still playing the role in this. They haven't.
Apparently, he's shit.
Yeah, it could be.
No. People who've watched it have said like he's not putting the fucking effort in.
Well, he's not in it yet, so I mean, I can't comment on that until he shows up. I suspect he's going to show up next week. But there are long moments in this that, but at least it's a good time. I mean, okay, there's bits that are boring, but at least it has like, it's like a 45-minute show. Not like all these fucking Star Wars shows that are 20 minutes long, or Secret Invasion that had like 30-minute episodes, and even they were shit, right? I mean, there was nothing good about Secret Invasion. At least, I mean, even Samuel motherfucking Jackson couldn't save that series. Whereas I like Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston together. I like it, and now you've got Ken Wan in there, and he's equally as good and quirky and odd and funny, and that I enjoy. So I'll continue watching it. Am I saying it's good? No. Am I recommending it? Not really, but it's something to watch, and it's slightly better than all the other shit that they put out.
I need to repaint the patch on my ceiling. I can video that, and you can watch that. There may even be some twists. On another note, talking about Marvel stuff, and there's one thing, you kind of, I crumple up thinking about this, but apparently, oh, crikey, I always get that set quite wrong. They were going to do the Daredevil Born Again series, but someone somewhere in the background's gone, all these TV series we do, they ain't fucking working. We need to do something about it. And all they need to do is just do whatever they did for the fucking Netflix show. Whatever they did for the Netflix. Even the crap Netflix stuff. I know that people have gripes about season 3 of Daredevil. There were bits in that I fucking loved.
There was really good bits in it, but there was a lot of boring bits in it, especially following season 2. And don't get me wrong, season 2 had some boring bits in it, but season 2 was by far the best season of it. But yeah, you're right.
So they've gone back and they've overhauled all the stuff there. So I'm hoping that maybe this is a late change. I'm hoping, but if Disney don't know their asses from the fucking elbows, until someone takes over the company and removes the sodding rot that's in there. Yeah, because if you're sitting there and taking fucking diversity, equity, and inclusion over profits and entertainment, you're doing it wrong. But the rumor is they're going to get this thing sorted. Third season, as I said, people had trouble with it. The Bullseye I felt was really good. I love the way that Kingpin took over. That was fantastic as you saw him like move into his apartment, and then all of a sudden got all his luxury stuff in the apartment, and he was pretty much controlling everything like the Kingpin should. And I'm hoping that they will sort this out. But again, what we'll get, oh, this is all right. Oh, nostalgia. What the fuck was that? That's the Disney pan at the moment. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. Oh, nostalgia. Oh, what the fuck was that shit? Yeah.
I'll tell you what. The unofficial YouTube guy that like cut it down into what was it, a 2.5-hour movie. That is way better. I mean, it's still shit, but it's way better than the TV series. I mean, you can't really polish a turd, but he did a better job of it.
I don't know why Disney just haven't got those series and chopped them up and turned them into something else and see if they're more popular than what they put out. You got the extended version, and I'm struggling.
I know why they did it, because they had to have a streaming service and blah blah blah. Why they couldn't have just, Apple TV, right? For all of its woes, doesn't put out that much content, and yet when they do, the majority of it is watchable. Depending on what you want, they have a number of series, right, that come out, and I don't like all of them. They've got a comedy series on there at the moment. It's really not for me, but some people like it. I didn't enjoy it, but Apple TV don't push that much content, right? Why can't Disney Plus do that? Why have one Marvel series or two Marvel series and
Right.
actually spend some money on it?
Now,
Have one Star Wars series.
If they were clever, all they'd really need to do is look at their thingy and just turn around and say, all the back catalogue on Disney Plus. You subscribe to Disney Plus, you've got the entire back catalogue. We'll throw some new ones in here and go, something big once every quarter. Something big for Christmas, and something big for Halloween, and something big for Easter on top of that. So what's that? So seven big bits of entertainment they need to put through on it. And then just say, fuck it, it's just where you find the back catalogue. Nice and simple. Really.
I remember moaning at times about Agents of the Shield, but it's still one of the best Marvel TV series, better than almost anything that Disney Plus has done. So no, I agree with you. I'll tell you one piece of news as we're on. It's not really Marvel news, but Marvel. Christopher Evans or Chris Evans. You heard who he's married?
Yes, I heard he's married. That was a while back.
No, but you know who he's married?
Yes.
It's the Warrior Nun.
Yes.
Bastard.
I'm jealous. Totally fucking jealous. That's why I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm
just like, it's a fucking good choice there, mate.
Bastard.
Not fair. That's the only reason I watched that TV show, I'll be honest with you. Just like, sorry, what happened? So something involved angels, but some lesbians. That's how I saw it. Oh man, it was no, I saw that. It's
yeah. What was it? I did watch something. I mean, I watched what was it American Crime Story, and I watched the whole Monica Lewinsky thing on Disney Plus. That was quite good. Nah. You see, I only subscribe to Disney Plus. I only subscribe to Disney Plus because I get it for so cheap. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother with it. I don't think. Yeah. Just yep, biff up, yep. Anyway, before we go, well, let's go on to some other news. Good news, except you haven't watched it yet, but I still say you should. Star Trek Prodigy has been saved.
Oh my word! Praise the Lord!
It's official. It was the best. It's one of the best fucking Star Trek shows that out of the new thing. Trust me, it is. It is a natural successor to Voyager. And look, it's kiddie in many places, but genuinely, it was pretty good. It embraced what was Star Trek, right? It embraced the good qualities of Star Trek. It has kiddie moments, but the voice acting is good. It's got fucking Janeway, it's got Chakotay in it. The Proto Starship is good. It's got what's his face from fucking Lord of the Rings and and what was the weird TV show with the FBI and he played
Fringe,
the weird
John Noble.
Him. Yeah,
See,
he plays the bad guy.
I'm so good. I can pick that information out from just that poor description.
You've been podcasting with me for fucking 10 years and know how my brain works. Anyway,
anyone
John
else would be
Noble
like, what
plays...
the fuck are you talking about, Keith? Sorry.
yeah, it's true. John Noble plays a really good bad guy in this, and genuinely, it's good. And there are stakes, and Starfleet is not bad, and it embraces that. Prodigy is good. It is good Star Trek, right? And it's been saved. So Netflix has picked it up. It's going to air season 2 in 2024, and season 1 is going to be on Netflix soon. Watch it. If you're a Star Trek fan, watch it. Get over the kiddie bits of it. Genuinely, it is good. It is good Star Trek. The latter half, the last 10 episodes of the season are fucking phenomenal. And some really good episodes at the end. And if you like a starship, if you're into your starship porn, final couple of episodes, really fucking good. There is a lot of good starships in there. It's worth a watch. It genuinely is worth a watch. So yeah, I'm kind of happy about it. I'd like to see season 2.
There's
So,
I'm going to watch Totally Killers next.
and the other thing is, by the fact that Netflix picked up Prodigy, and if it does well, which on Netflix it might, right? It just shows Paramount that there is still an appetite for Star Trek, but good Star Trek. Legacy, come on. So anyway, yeah, I think it's a good piece of news. So I'm quite happy with that. Doctor Who news.
Yes.
Doctor Who.
So
yeah, more
I had
evidence.
one.
Yes, go on. You got you.
I had
you
my
say.
one piece of. I had my one piece of news, which I was like, because I know not everyone. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but Russell T Davies couldn't have brought Doctor Who back without him, and that's the fact that it looks like Stephen Moffat is on the writing staff.
Well, we talked about this last week, and because when he was directly answered, he gave a politician's answer, and we spoke about this last week. We both kind of agreed that it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back to write an episode. Well, yeah, and it turns out that Russell T Davies has said that he's sticking around for 4 seasons. He has a 4-season plan, so it looks like we're getting 4 seasons. Well, yeah, that's the only thing. But look, I know Disney Plus. I know Disney Plus are bankrolling some of this. I know. But at the same time, it does feel like we've got the old band back together. It does, you got Murray Gold back, kind of like his theme tune. It's even got it's got the full theme tune there. It's got the the overall chorus part in there, and it sounds great. And it's like it's orchestrated again. It's even got the and it's got the fucking choir going on in there. It's like, okay, this feels like Doctor Who again. This feels like and then you hear the Doctor Who theme, and you're like, at first I didn't like it, and I listened to it again and again and again. Then I just looked at a picture of Ncuti Gatwa or Ncuti Gatwa, and I went, actually, no, this works. It is camp, and I get it.
That's what do you call it? That's I'm reserving judgment. I'm going to treat it like a new TV series. I'm going to watch the specials, and they get the 4-episode treatment. And if it's okay, I'll do the 4-episode treatment again. If they're going to be red flags, because Russell T Davies, when he was in charge, did things that I didn't like, and when Moffat took over, all those things disappeared until we got to the end of the last season of Matt Smith's run, and then it looked like it was, and I know it was fucking mandated because he actually told me it was mandated. Yeah, the expression was, "I have bosses too, and I have to do what they say." And I heard him say this in person.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because that Piers Wagner is a twat.
Well, it doesn't matter now because it's not. It's been wrestled away from the BBC.
No,
it's under Bad Wolf Productions. Yeah. No, it's under Bad Wolf Productions.
Yes, I know. So I don't know. I'm reserving judgment, but it feels promising. I like the music anyway. I like the music. The music.
The fact that Murray Gold's back, because he did some bangers. He did the best stuff for Matt Smith. I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
Yep. And then he did some good bits at the beginning of Capaldi's run, and then it kind of went a bit. Maybe he knew whoever the other guy was shit. I'm sorry. He was a fucking diversity hire. It was like, we've got our first blur insert thing.
That whole era of Doctor Who was terrible. I mean, it just. Anyway, I look. I'm looking forward to it.
Come back, John Nathan Turner. All is forgiven.
I hope that we can get back to having some decent adventures in the TARDIS. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and all of my shows that I've enjoyed have been destroyed one way or another. But started watching Picard season 3 again. Having watched Nemesis and then watched the first couple of episodes of Picard season 3, kind of appreciating it even more again. Look, I get some people weren't fans of Picard season 3. I go back Go back and watch. I'm so fucking glad we did this, right? I'm so glad that we did this because actually, I had a lot of preconceptions that have kind of gone out the window, and I've gone back and started watching this again, and really loving it. And because season 3 is not perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's
Oh,
not perfect, but it's fucking Star Trek.
it is Star Trek. This, I'll be honest with you, this is the last Star Trek film. Not the last TV series, but the last Star Trek film before we get
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the JJ verse.
yeah. Yeah. Do we want to talk about sex education first? Because you want to mention
Oh,
it.
right, fair enough. Okay, so
And then we'll go into
let's
Nemesis.
let's just get this right. Keith was desperate for me to watch Sex Education.
No,
I
because I was
watched the.
like, we're running out of shit to talk about. So yeah, I
I
watched
will,
this. I want to get
Keith,
your
I
opinion.
will find us some choice things to talk about. Trust me, trust me, man. I've got some things.
Spider-Man next week.
Oh, I've got to pre-order that.
I already have.
Anyway,
Anyway,
going right. So it was like kind of Sex Education. I hadn't watched it, and maybe on a subconscious level, I know why I didn't watch it. And what it was I watched that first episode, and we always describe Sex Education as doing the kind of woke thing in a way that's more palatable than most TV shows. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's woke, but it does it in a way that I can appreciate. It's got fun characters, story, there's conflict, all those things there, and then it lent so heavily into the woke thing, and they got rid of so many characters that I liked who then just disappeared. And I was watching it, and I was reaching the conclusion that this is not going to end well. I watched the whole first episode through, and I was just like, okay, one, I thought I'd hate Otis, not Otis. What's his mate's name? Shooty Gatwa plays a character.
it's not Brian, is it? No.
No.
Oh, hang on.
Anyway, I was watching it, and the Shooty Gatwa's character I was expecting to hate because of how he was such a dick at the end of the third season.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked the recap with Gillian Anderson,
Eric.
where she went to Eric. Yeah.
Hmm.
Eric. I liked the recap with Gillian Anderson that you got beforehand because I forgot everything that happened. That was cool. And then I watched it, and it just was just so obnoxious. Seriously, I've not been so irritated by watching a TV show ever, and it's annoying because the characters from the TV show that I would describe as woke were in this situation going, God, they're obnoxious, and I'm like, well done. This is what is this shit? Yeah, it's just like and then I was like, then he had because you wanted the goal was for Otis to get together with Maeve at the end, yeah. That was the overall thing. But it says sex education, but it's more about kind of having intimate relationships rather than the naughty stuff, yeah. And I was watching it, and it got to the end of the episode, and I went, "They're not going to fucking wind up together, are they? I'm going to watch this entire series, and it's not going to happen." And it's like kind of, fuck it. Went straight to the last episode, rewound it about 5-10 minutes, started watching, pulls a letter out, and like, oh fuck me, yeah, it is. It's going to go that right way. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this because I wanted them to get together. Yeah, and it didn't happen.
I mean, the writer says it was always a plan for those two never to end up together. But you know what? Bullshit. They should have ended up together. I agree with you. I look, Eric did get redeemed. I mean, he was a bit of a dick in season 4, but he does kind of get redeemed, and you do, to a certain extent, understand where he's coming from. I actually believe, his whole, there is a theme running throughout with religion, and I know you're not a thing, but it narratively it made sense. So at the end, when he says he wants to, become a vicar or priest or whatever, it half made sense because of the way that story. So I liked Eric, and and Eric was probably the only reason I watched it through. I didn't like what they did with Gillian Anderson. I found her sister irritating. I didn't like it did the whole postnatal depression thing and that story. I found really. She was always a fun and embarrassing character, and she became annoying. And
I always describe she was like a stabilizing force, if that made any sense.
Yes, and it
Where the
didn't
kids were
work.
all over this place, and she was stabilized, even when she was shagging the plumber,
Yeah,
yeah, or dealing with her
and
ex-husband or whatever.
the American girl that was not really a girl was kind of like confused about her gender. She just there wasn't enough around that to explain her motives. Um, so I kind of got, that her story I just didn't feel, and I think I should have done. And like, the other guy who had the two mums, one of them who was the what's her face out of Ted Lasso. Again, he was meant to have this whole cancer ball treatment, and again, you didn't really like it. And then his sort of like nerdy sort of friend girl who he should have ended up with, right?
Mm.
If they'd done it properly, he should have ended up with her, because those two, you know, weren't typical like thing, but actually they were really good and had chemistry on screen together. Why didn't he end up with her? Right. And they didn't do that. And that didn't work for me. And then the new characters, they were all really fucking annoying. Um, and like Otis going into the new school and wanting to start up his sex clinic and getting really angry when the other person was there. It made Otis a bit of a dick, and Otis was not a dick. Otis has never been a dick. So
No, it was. Yeah, I know.
it's almost like they had a 3-season plan and they went, oh shit, what are we going to do? And then they lost all the characters that were interesting. There were moments. I like the fact that the headmaster dad kind of repairs his relationship with his son, and the bit where they hug in the field. It was really awkward, but in a kind of sympathetic way, and I liked that. And I liked when he finally makes it up with Eric, and that conversation with Eric was really good. When what's her face's mum dies, and again that was quite good. That episode was quite good because it was all the old characters and that story. But there was one episode in that season that I genuinely liked all the way through, and that was probably the saddest episode, but it was well done. But no, it wasn't good. It wasn't a fitting end. It was ended terribly. You brought these new characters in for a final season, which again doesn't make sense. This was the final season. What the fuck?
Mm. What fuck?
Finish it off with a film. Why didn't they finish it off with a 2-hour film? That
Yeah.
would have worked better.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had to write as much. They could have got the characters in there. It would have been. Anyway, but as fucking disappointing as Starfield. There you go. There's the comment for you. Oh my god! I just on another note, because I've been playing Starfield, and I played it like No Man's Sky. I tried to play it like the game wanted, but it kept on crashing. So I played it like No Man's Sky. So I went off and just explored a load of stuff, surveyed bits, killed whatever I came across, leveled up, got into fights. Didn't really follow any of the stories. Just had some fun exploring. Went back, started doing the stories. Got to a point now. I've done I think I've done like 30 of them. And now I've got to the point where I'm like, I want to delete this. I don't like this anymore. I really don't like this anymore. I'm having some fucking conversation at a ball thing, and it's like everyone's just a dick. I can't even get drunk properly because in like Fallout, you got drunk, it would increase your charisma, which I love the idea of. Yeah, have some scotch. Health goes down. It's.
I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad that I resisted buying an Xbox. For that, I might get an Xbox at some point, but I'm glad I resisted it. I'm hanging out for Spider-Man, so when that comes out, I'll have it.
Yeah, I've Oh, here you go. I'd just like to put. How are your teeth? Just asking, how are your teeth? Because I know that your other received a blowjob from.
Listening. He says he's listening. So, how to be a stupid gamer? Hi, buddy. He's talking about you, because your comment says he's listening, so he might not know you're talking to him. But he then did actually comment again, saying he's not bothering with Starfield. I heard it's like a soap opera. I'm going.
Oh no, soap opera is much more entertaining. Seriously, soap opera. It's like a shit. Yeah. It's like no, what's that Netflix series? Another Life. Was it Another Life?
No.
The one with Starbuck from
Oh God!
that
Oh God!
terrible one?
Yes. Oh God! I can't remember the name of it. And he had a season 2. He had a fucking
Yes.
season 2.
Oh
Who
no,
makes a
no,
season 2 of that shit?
so hold on a second. I enjoyed watching that because it was so shit.
It was
That
so
was it
bad.
was so it was so bad. It was I found it entertaining because I'm just watching it and my brain is looking at all the characters going, this is a person, who wrote this, the showrunner, sat in a coffee shop, observed the people in the coffee shop, and then inserted them into their science fiction drama, which shows that they have more skill than most writers, but it's still shit. Because it's like kind
I
of that person's obviously the barista.
I kind of feel sorry for Katie Sackhoff because she keeps starring in these things. I mean, Mandalorian season 3, terrible. And it's not because of her. It's because of really bad writing. Katie, get a better agent. Get a better agent.
Come on our
Um,
podcast. We'll come on your podcast
yeah,
too. It'll be fun.
yeah. But I'd love to talk to her about Starbuck. Uh, get a better agent. Because I like you. You actually seem to be quite a nice person. You just started some right fucking stinkers. Anyway, come on, let's talk about Nemesis.
Okay, so I've got this is the only Star Trek film that I've gone into with how can I put it, a judgment, and then popped out the other side with pretty much the same judgment, but for different reasons.
I'm gonna say this. I enjoyed this more than Insurrection, and I think the reason that I enjoyed it more than Insurrection is there's a hell of a lot of Enterprise E porn in this. They did something with the
yeah.
sets in this. They did something with the sets because you
No,
remember
no,
I said the Voyager set was much
no,
cooler.
no, no. Hang on a second. They didn't do anything with the sets.
Yes,
Just
they
decent
did.
cinematography.
They did because I actually went and checked this back because I was like, like when they're in the conference room and Data's got the fucking screen up and he's explaining something about the Shinzon ship, right? And there's that whole screen. That isn't there in First Contact because I went back and looked at the First Contact scene where Picard breaks the fucking glass ships. It's not there. That was added, right? And the bridge is ever so subtly different, right? And they've done things like there's more sets. There's just more Enterprise E. And I went, actually, Enterprise E is pretty fucking cool. And I liked it for that. I did. But I still can't get over the fact that you've got this skinny, bony fucking Tom Hardy, right? And that's the guy that was in the Dark Knight Returns. I still can't get my head around it. I can't. How the fuck did he bulk up?
Do you know the worst thing is? He's still got the same beat that he had in Dark Knight Returns, where I was born in the darkness. You only adopted. It's exactly the same thing. I was just like, I laughed at that. I liked Admiral Janeway talking to Picard at the beginning. That was one thing. I was like, that's a nice, that's a nice touch. I like those sort of kind of continuity things.
I tell you, you said it slowly started. There's only one thing in there, right? Will Wheaton being in there, right? Doesn't make any fucking sense when you watch Picard season 3, because she said my son is kind of dead and gone, yet he came back, right, for the wedding, right? I like seeing Whoopi Goldberg, even though she didn't say much. I'm sorry, I'm sad. I know you're gonna fucking probably take the piss out of me or berate me, but I love Data's musical number. I love it. I've been singing it all
fuck
day.
no. What was that? That was one of the low points.
I love it.
That was one of the low points.
No, it doesn't, because it makes sense narratively. Because Will Riker loved jazz, and that was great, and I loved it, and I loved the songs, and I liked his rendition of it. Because actually, when you hear the original, it is quite slow, whereas Data's is a bit more jazzed up, and I liked it. Sorry, I liked it. Can't. I liked the wedding scene. I liked it.
No,
I liked the bit afterwards with Worf, like, I'm not appearing naked, and I like, the joke and the comedy there. I genuinely enjoyed this a lot more. But I'm going to say this, and you're going to disagree with me, and then I'm going to prove you wrong. It borrowed a lot from Star Trek 2. It fucking does, right? It is Star Trek 2.
Ha. It doesn't just borrow from Star Trek 2. It also borrows from The Undiscovered Country too.
Yes, true. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
starts off with a Romulan coup, which the way they make it sounds like it happens like every 2 years. So instead of having
Yes.
like a vote or something, we have a coup instead. It's a lot easier. It explains
Yeah.
why they're so.
It's happened 22 times here in the last 50 years. 22 times. But yeah, go on. Go on.
Anyway, so they had that. They had the Remans, which we'd never been introduced to before. Kind of made logically it makes sense because Romulus and Remus, and that kind of fits. And it's like, oh, we never didn't know anything about them beforehand. They had the thing with the fight Thaler radiation, which I'm sure was talked about in actual Next Generation with Thaler radiation, and it involved the Romulans too. And also, it had a plot point that was never followed through on with. Well, I'm going to say Seska, but Seska's fucking Voyager. Who was the one that Denise Crosby played, the Romulan that she played?
Oh, because yeah. So she was Tasha Yar, and she goes back with the Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise, and then is
No, we're talking about a
captured by the
daughter who's half Romulan.
Yes, but that's how it happens. Yeah, that's because of what happened in in yesterday's Enterprise. That's how Tasha Yar.
Yeah, I know,
Because
I know that bit, but there was a
yeah,
plot point with that Romulan woman,
yes,
which wasn't followed through on the Next Generation. I can't bloody
yes,
remember what it is.
yes. I know what you mean.
Um,
But that's also where they introduced Larsa and Batol. Because again, because she was in cahoots with the Klingon, with Larsa and Batol from Generations, the two Klingon women. That was the
yes,
two-parter. And
yes.
yeah, you're right. And she was meant to be in this, and she declined to be a part of it because the character that you see that comes to help,
Dizzy
um,
from Starship Troopers.
yes, yes, comes to help, was meant to be her. Yes, you're right.
Yes.
You're right.
They also killed Jim Robinson from Neighbours off in the first scene.
I
Um,
know. I know.
he will always be known as Jim Robinson from Neighbours. It's the Romulan senator. It's like kind of. I like the way that Thalion radiation is quite pretty when it fires up, and also it's like.
Really
It feels
fucking
quite.
deadly.
Yeah, but it
Um,
seems like if it seems like something you can't. It's how can I put it politely? It seems like something you can sort out with an ash pan and brush. Unlike other things, it's not like with Doctor Manhattan where he goes "Pff," and everyone just goes "Pff," and it's red mist everywhere. But ash pan and brush or dust pan and brush, a little Roomba probably sort all that stuff out. Clean up that Senate easy. That's what I picture actually. They all die, yeah. The Remans teleport in, they put a load of Roombas down, yeah. They come back up, everything's lovely and clean.
I kind of enjoyed this a lot more again. I thought I was going to, and there was a lot of Enterprise E porn in it that I'd forgotten about, and that was kind of awesome. It reminded me why I loved that version of the Enterprise, and I enjoyed the scene. I enjoyed the battle. It was like ram. Picard goes, oh, he thinks he knows what I'm going to do. Then he rams the motherfucking ship into it. It's like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Fuck it, ram him. And Deanna Troy, that sexy lingerie, best she's ever looked.
Yeah, that is the best she's ever looked. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, that is going to be a contestant for next week. I'm afraid that is a contestant for next week.
Oh, dude, we have so much. You have no idea of the work we have ahead of us.
Yes,
to come up with top Star Trek Totty. Because it's like, I know who number one is, but I don't know who the rest are, if that makes any sense. The two I'm quite confident on, but everything else I'm like, the order. But just going back to it, it's a fucking slow start. Oh, it's so slow to get going.
I enjoyed the start, but I get it. I get why you're saying that. I do get it. I enjoyed
it
the
was
start.
missing. It was missing an action scene in between. Yeah, there's needed to be one between. That you needed to see what the scimitar could do to something else. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because the scimitar is weird because it's the least one of my favorite Star Trek ships, but it's the least Star Trek ship. It looks like it doesn't
Yes.
belong in Star Trek. But it also looks like it's like a model that if you got stuck in a room with, you could murder someone because it's got lots of sharp, spiky bits on it, which I appreciate. But
It
it's
worked
yeah.
for me. It worked for me. It worked for me. I'd almost say it was the other Romulan ships that didn't work for me. They
Because
totally changed the design of the Romulan ship, and Picard, when it's Star Trek Picard again. I know we can say a lot about that, but again, they kind of borrowed from that design. That's my only criticism of it was the other two Romulan ships that just didn't look like anything we'd ever seen before. And I know ship designs change and blah blah blah, but they were totally, Starfleet ships are always recognizable as Starfleet ships, except in Star Trek Picard.
it's always the only one that broke the rule for it was you're supposed to you have the two nacelles and they're supposed to be level with each other. So you can have four, but they have to be kind of level with each other. Voyager
Even the
did the thing.
Yeah, even the Defiant is kind of recognizable as a Starfleet ship, whereas these weren't. They should have had that green. They should have had the green because every Romulan ship had that green, and they didn't have it, and that didn't work for me. The Scimitar didn't bother me that much. I love the Mad Max thing. I love the Mad Max thing. I love that car. I love that idea. That was cool.
All right,
That was
so this I think is probably a bigger reflection, maybe on the writer and on Patrick Stewart than it is probably on Picard. Yeah, it smells of someone who's recently bought themselves a jet ski. Do you know what I mean? And then wants to take the jet ski out every opportunity they've got, and they're dragging the kids out with them, and for every reason, it's like, oh, we can go to we
They
should go out
do
for a walk.
kind of
We should
make
go to the
that
lake. I
go
could try
to
my jet ski. Sorry. Oh, I've lost your audio, Keith. Oh, heaven sent. Is it me? Hang on a second. Have I lost my audio? You can hear me fine. It's his. He needs a new cable. Now you got to transfer over to the shit audio, which is terrible for the podcast listeners. Well done, Keith. You had one job to do. You fucked it up. Hello.
It is.
I can't take him anywhere. Seriously, yeah. This is a guy who can sit on the toilet the wrong way round. Yeah. It's not. The thing is, that mic's not a cheap mic. It's the cable he's using is a cheap cable. Yeah, £1.79 from whatever
No, it's not a
Thai
cheap
store that he
cable.
went to.
It's not a cheap cable. It's a good cable, but don't worry. I have a backup. Ha ha.
Have you made sure you got the right cable for that one? Because it's a micro and not a regular A or B. Oh, now he's figured it
I'm not
out.
stupid.
You could have fooled us and all the podcast listeners very easily.
I've just got to find the cable. I thought I had the cable ready, and I don't. What a twat.
Anyway, right. I'll keep going on about Star Trek. So, Ron bloody Perlman. I said before at the beginning, I didn't realize it was Ron Perlman because he was under like £20 worth of makeup, which was quite good considering, I could hear his voice but couldn't see his face, which means that the special effects people did their job. Some bits I really like in it was the bit where Shinzon and Picard are having that final fight and he gets skewered, and instead of like keeling over and dying, he just pulls himself through the rail and goes up to Picard and just like starts strangling him. He did look like, and it's in the thumbnail, he did look like Shinzon needed an epic shit. Yeah, that's the strain. It's like, just let it go. No. Part of me's like, could have worked. Part of me's like, could this have worked out? But yeah. Got your audio sorted? No, he's not got his audio sorted. This is the quality of professional I get to work with.
Okay,
What the fuck
good?
is that, Keith? Oh, do you remember? Remember, the other one automatically adjusts. This one you need to manually adjust, motherfucker.
Okay, is it really loud?
There we go. That's better. Keep it.
Okay. How's that?
That's better.
How's
A
that?
bit slightly
Any
loud,
better?
but I can deal with it. Yeah.
How's that? Better?
That's just fine. Just talk.
Yeah.
It's fine. Leave it. Oh my God!
Turn the game. I've turned the game right down.
No one's tuned in to watch you fiddle around with your fucking microphone, Keith.
Yes, well, I wasn't expecting the bloody microphone because it held out last week and now it's died again. So I am going to have to send it back. But look, I had a spare. Went to bookaspare.com.
Mine's fine.
Yeah,
my problem
I
is
don't
if
know
I
what's
charge my
going on.
camera.
I don't know. I mean, the battery's gone in my camera as well. It's yeah, everything's breaking down. But it has got a 7-year guarantee on it, so Rode are going to fix it. Anyway, is that okay? Is the audio?
That's fine, Keith. I can hear you. Let's keep talking to Star Trek.
Okay, so where were we?
I was talking about how I liked how Shinzon pulled himself through the thing and tried choking it. It's weird with Star Trek Nemesis because there are bits that I really like in it, and there are other bits where I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, faster, people. It's yeah.
I get it. I get it. I mean, it's. I like the. I get why you think it was. I didn't notice it being as slow. Yeah, we'll get on to that one next week. To poll. See, I don't know. Anyway, no, we'll talk about it next week. We're gonna.
I'd snap her in two like a twig.
Yeah. Next week's show is going to get us banned. But
it's going to be glorious.
I'd rather go out with a bang.
If it was to Paul, then it would be worth it.
I found myself enjoying most of this. I don't think it went as slow. I didn't find it as slow as you did, but I get why you might have done. I think the slow bits that you're saying is the bits where it's all on the Enterprise E. I'm going, oh, this is cool. Oh, shitborn. So for me, it was kind of like, there's a lot more set. Go on.
That was one bit I remember quite clearly. They put a shield around the warp core. We had to eject the warp core last time because it got damaged. Yes. Now we put a shield around it. It's like no one's done that since in Star Trek.
I know. I noticed that. But I mean, again, I keep thinking of it. It's like, again, it was the first time I ever saw Tom Hardy, right? And then I never saw him again. And then he played, what's his face? In Chopper, wasn't it? He played...
No, Bronson. He played Bronson.
That was it, Bronson.
And it was
like, people were telling me this is the same guy that is in fucking Star Trek Nemesis. Like, he's twice the fucking size. And that's the thing, he's never gone back down again. I mean, he's still a fucking big bloke, Tom Hardy. I mean, but for this, he was like a skinny little rake. But the voice, you're right, it's the voice. The voice is just, is straight away identifiable. And I don't know, I liked his bad guy. A lot of people criticized this movie and said, that there was too much of a bad guy in it. I liked that, but yes, okay, it does kind of follow Wrath of Khan. No, it's not. It's not as good as Wrath of Khan, but it does. There's a lot of beats that it follows that are very similar to Wrath of Khan. The Nebula fight, okay, again, it doesn't have quite the same issue, but it does that both ships are heavily disabled. Although in this, the one thing I will say is ramming the motherfucker with the Enterprise E was kind of cool. Yeah, I like this. I liked it. I did. I thought it was a worthy ending.
Do you know the worst thing is my what do you call it? My thing is that Star Trek at the moment is so, with the exception of Picard season 3, it's been so bad. It makes this look so fucking good. But back in the day, because it was good, we were always like, yeah.
And I think that because I think you because that was the point I was going to make next, is that I think I like this because it feels like Star Trek, and we haven't had that. But again, having watched all the movies over the last 9 or 10 weeks that we've been watching these movies, I've watched them so close to each other that actually I appreciated all of these movies, even Generations to a certain extent. I still think Generations is the weakest of all of them, but it's all to do with the Kirk death.
Just
and that
all we had to do make him disappear. That's it.
No,
Easy fix.
and I agree with you. And I totally agree with you. And they should have done it done a director's cut where they did that. It's not like they've never done that before. I mean, fucking hell. What was it? Blade Runner. Director's cut totally changes that movie. Totally changes the ending. They could have done that, and they never have. And I agree with you. That's what they should have done. But I enjoyed this. It is better than Insurrection. I'm sorry. People who were saying this was worse than Insurrection, having watched both movies, Insurrection is better than I thought it was going to be. This is better than that. Sorry. I mean, I know Jonathan Frakes sort of did that movie, but this is just better. This is just better.
The other thing I noticed, there was a lot of people sitting on tables. It's like coming to Picard's office and like Beverly's like sitting on his table. And so I'd have to say, out of the Next Generation films, First Contact, probably number one. I would say, this is where I'm going to lose people. I say this is number two.
Why? What are you saying is number one? I've just noticed something on my camera.
First Contact. I can't take him anywhere. I'm going to take him off stream at the moment.
Yeah, no.
So, it's terrible. What kind of person? It's not that bloody.
Shut your cake, Cole. I had control. The white balance was going all over the place. I suddenly noticed it. I thought it looked different. You were saying you think this? First Contact as a movie is
First
better.
Contact. Probably the first one. I don't think it's as good as I remember it. Is the first thing. Could have done with more. It could have done with more Borg. Could have done with leaning more into the horror elements. It is secretly a story about a crazy ex-girlfriend. Yeah, it is. You go back there, just watch it and have that in mind. And as you watch it, it is Picard's extra. What do you call it? Stalkerish girlfriend from Best of Both Worlds. Then I would say Nemesis, because Tom Hardy was an interesting bad guy. There was more to him than most bad guys. It does suffer. I like the scimitar. I'm annoyed that the Deredex Romulan Warbirds weren't used, because they're one of my favourite ships. And it did need an action sequence between first time you see the scimitar and when they get to Romulus. Then
I'll give you that.
I would probably go. I don't know about Insurrection and versus Generations, because I liked Malcolm McDowell as a bad guy more than like Murray Abrahams as a bad guy. I think it would have been improved with Brian Blessed as the Admiral. That would have been fucking epic. Oh, I love that. Brian Blessed, legend, that man. I'd probably put Insurrection last. It's not as bad, but I put it last, and I put Generations there because I get to see the Enterprise D in that. You've got Lursa and whatever her name is. I can see their tits, which is useful. It's always bonus. When in doubt, and you got it, you just go. Has it got boobs in it? It's got boobs in it. And actually, it moves head. Simple logic. Everyone's spoke. Right, Susan Oliver in the cage. I have to quickly look up Susan Oliver in the cage, because this is where I fall down. Is getting the totty from the original series.
Yeah, but the cage. Okay, so I know what he's getting at, but the cage never aired, did it? And then they did that sort of.
No, but they did the recap, and she was in the recap.
Yeah.
What was the recap episode called?
Released. And when we're doing, I'm assuming if we're doing one rule, we're not doing New Trek, are we? We are.
No.
We're not.
Look, we can have an honourable mention because What's got a kit off in Into Darkness. That's it. Alice Eve got a kit off in Into Darkness. That's it. We'll just do an honourable mention, and we'll leave it at that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
makes it-
And
that makes it a tad easier.
nothing from Discovery, because there is nothing in Discovery unless you want to put fucking Tilly in there. And if you do, I'm going to come to Thailand.
No, but then we have to put. But I was thinking more like Rebecca Romaine because there is something about her.
She's better in X-Men.
In fairness, though, she was a damn sight lot younger then, and she wasn't wearing any fucking thing in X-Men. But she does not look bad.
Boobs, Keith.
she's-
Boobs. I explained to
yeah.
you how the logic works, man. It's got boobs in it.
Rachel
Clearly it's
Lawrence. You could then talk about Rachel Lawrence as well. Anyway, and have you seen that fucking film that she was in? Anyway, that's another matter. And that is all her.
Well, we've got a lot of text messaging this week between the two of us. Got to figure out the order. We're gonna arc. We have a lot of. Actually, maybe I should have my list and you should have your list. I think that's probably the best way of doing it.
I mean, are we so the thing is, if we cover like the seasons, like because he's I can't remember all the original series, and there was a lot of hot 60s birds in that series.
I know that too. There's the green girl. I remember that as a kid. So I have feelings, but I don't know what these feelings are. Menagerie.
Yes.
That was Oh, that makes. Oh, right. Hang on a second. That comment, right now, with that comment, now makes sense. I'm such a fucking brain dead bimbo sometimes. All right, I will. I'm gonna have to watch some TOS to because I can do that. I can pretty much recall all the ones in thingy. Every Dabo girl in fucking Deep Space Nine.
Everything. I mean, your city at the end of whatever it was called. There are so many hot 60s because they're already mini skirts. So you've got all of that, and then you've got Dax. Dax in the original series episode, Deep Space Nine episode, where she's in the mini skirt. And then,
oh yeah, and even the other Dax.
Isri. Oh yeah, but Isri Isri Dax looked kind of okay, right? But she had short hair. Then you got the other mirror universe version of her with a slightly longer hair. And she was a lesbian.
Oh right, hold on a second.
She was a lot hotter in that.
So there's one simple rule: the other universe versions of them automatically win out. Okay, because everyone's sexier in the other universe.
To Poe in the mirror universe, walking around with a fucking zip down. What's her face? Even Yoshi, what's her face? Yeah. Mirror universe versions were always hotter. They just were.
That's the general rule. I even think it sounds weird to think even describing the dudes hotter in the fucking mirror universe for the ladies. So yeah, mirror universe wins out automatically. So we're gonna text you a load of stuff tonight. You're gonna be like, oh for fuck's! You'll look at your WhatsApp, 102 missed fucking messages.
I'm gonna get those. I'll look at it. I'll get it in the morning. But yes, check out Pam Malemski as a special guest appearance in Enterprise.
Oh, please, guys, more of these, as many as you can.
I think I know.
I'm actually tempted to add you to a bloody
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
How did I forget? I remember it. How did I forget? More importantly, there's even a scene where she's wet, and I mean like brain wet. So I don't mean anything else, you dirty bastards. Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know. Right. Okay, when we're doing right, I think we're gonna have to come up with some freaking rules around this, right? Guest stars, right? There were always hot guest stars. I think we've got to base it on regular characters. We've got to base it on regular characters. Right. It just goes right. So it goes like this, yeah. If you can see their cleavage, bonus points. That's the rule. Yeah, but fucking hell.
When it goes level,
Collins was in an episode of Star Trek, and she was hot in the 60s.
Right, hold on. So it goes quite simple like this, right? It goes like, if we draw level with two characters, did you see their cleavage? And if you did see both of their cleavages, who had the better cleavage? And that's who you goes forward.
No, I know this is really fucking difficult. You're never gonna win it,
No.
right? We're gonna be
No,
arguing this for the next month.
No,
if
it's
we include
brilliant.
guest stars. Yeah, it's brilliant. But we're gonna be arguing here for the next fucking month. We're not gonna solve this in one fucking podcast episode.
Shut up! No, bad Stephen. Bad Stephen.
Bad Stephen. But we're not going to solve this in one episode because then you've got the freaking Orion Slave Girls in Enterprise as well. First episode, pilot episode, Orion Slave Girls in that. Yep.
Honourable mentions, obviously. Again, can we see cleavage? Yep. Who's got the better cleavage?
Yeah. Can you see cleavage? That's all they fucking see. Who cares that they're green? In actual fact, the Orion girl that was in the first of the J.J. Abrahams.
No, we don't talk. That doesn't exist.
But seriously,
doesn't exist.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I need to get that. I need to hang on a second. I need to upload the bloody music so we can play that music that I've got for the Rebecca Ferguson thing. So when we talk about it, I can play it in the background.
We could just have that on for an hour, right? You could do, a revolving thing. Here's our video card, Star Trek Top 20. See you next week. These guys will still be watching an hour later. Tell me you won't be.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, this is going to be.
We always got a reaction. We always get a reaction when we do that. We always get a reaction when we put those bits on. I'm glad my wife's not watching. Really fucking grateful.
Glad my wife's not watching. I'll be in a lot of trouble. Darling. Yeah, the trouble is, right, when you WhatsApp me pictures, they go into my photos and she goes, "What's this?"
Why have you got your thing photos backed up from your WhatsApp? I get sent some bloody horrible stuff. I've got pictures of athletes with broken legs after doing failed long jumps.
Who's sending you that? Your brother?
That's my brother. That's my brother Duncan.
I answered that myself.
Oh yeah, now I know. Oh yeah, he's a dick like that. I remember.
Yeah, I answered that one myself. Right. We've been on air for an hour. I think we've got to get busy.
We've got work ahead of us, Keith. We have work ahead of us.
We have really hard and very difficult work ahead of us. And remember, we're doing it for you guys. It's for you guys.
It's for you guys.
All for you guys.
It's not for us. We get no pleasure from this whatsoever. We have to be as objective and to the point as we can. We can't we can't be scrimping on logic or anything like that, I'm afraid.
It's all for you guys.
Yeah, it is all for you guys. And on that devastating note. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just try one thing before we go, because I want to see if this works. I understand. Where was it? Search for Danny. Sorry, it is. So I just want to see if I can get this thing working. But I should have queued it up. Dipstick didn't queue it up properly. So Ben sound, that's what I wanted. Not Benny. Ben sound.
Don't you want to do this after the podcast, or are you doing?
No. I just want to see if this works. Hang on a second. We're going to be running this on fucking loop, boy. This is on loop for our entire thing. I need to find some alternative ones.
This is going to be hard work, guys. It's going to be really difficult. I mean, I've already worked 2 jobs. Do you have any idea? You're not buying it, are you?
No one's buying it. On that note,
all right,
no one's buying it. On that note, we will see you next week. Keith, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I gotta find the button. There we go.